came across the content of this YouTuber, Jacobian. His channel Revised Reality. I believe it's really helped me get a handle on what the Mandela effect means, specifically this segment in this video.
Usually the actual products are chic, but they'll be listed as chic. With pictures I assume the sellers took themselves, zoomed right in on the logo, held right in their hand, accurately matching the strange spellings of more chicken and peace love chicken directly from the products, describing other viewable text accurately, except when it comes to the words Chic-fil-A. It's hard to imagine them missing that standard spelling with a K. I genuinely suspect they're actually seeing it the former way just as clearly and unmistakably as we used to. For whatever reason, the perceptual update hasn't hit them yet.
So this is key for me. I wouldn't verify this. Yes, even to this day, there are individuals who are using the old spelling of Chick-fil-A to push their products, even though the pictured products have a different spelling. Now, don't get too hung up on the shape here. This video is not necessarily about sphere versus plane, but rather conceptual in terms of dimensions. Draw some lines here. I think I may try to explain this in different ways in future videos, but this will be just like a rough draft. So this world here is the cornucopia world. Maybe you'll say the life is like a box of chocolates version of reality. And let's say that this is our current shared reality. The life was like a box of chocolates, cornucopia-less version of reality. This use of the misspelling of Chick-fil-A represents a type of glitch that is leaking through. It's evidence that this older reality is still existing. Older is a term that I use, but it may not even be older. It may just be parallel. I'll say older just for the sake of the concept here. Perhaps separated by a dimension, like completely superimposed, there are people still living in this perception, using terms that we don't recognize in the current reality. So you, the Mandela-affected viewer, have memories that are coming from this old perception, as well as a mix of all of the current perception memories. But the current day spelling errors, now not all, but at least some of them, could represent information that is currently, in present tense, coming from this old reality that we're able to perceive in this reality. Basically a glitch. So there may be a portion of people who are circumstantially trapped in this old perception. There are memories these people have that are so strong and so entrenched that they can't actually exist in our current reality. But the Chick-fil-A glitch may show communication can still occur, which we can see in the current reality. And I think there are certain people who are unable to communicate specific types of information that we'll see in this reality because of the interface between the two different realities. For instance, some of these people, they may exist in that special location, this island country that we can no longer perceive in this reality. Here's Australia for a point of reference. The island nation that doesn't exist of Costa Rica would be another example. It appears too that this location even can have information that leaks through. Note the date of this reference being more recent, 2013. Now, let's take a look at a certain population of individuals. So you have some of those individuals who are not receiving these memories of the old world for whatever reason. So these people may have a few different issues that prevent them from getting the new memories. Let's say you have a person who was born because of the work his father did during one of the world wars, or some associate of the father during that period led to continuation of the family line, let's say thanks to the camouflage on one of the ships. So because Razzle Dazzle only existed in this world version of events, this person could only come from this timeline. So an important associated question to this would be for an individual, let's say one in the Berenstain family, is this Berenstain also affected by old world memories? Does the Berenstain have memory of being a Berenstain? In my mind, that would necessarily mean that the Berenstain was also from the old reality, but somehow able to cross over. And so let's say the Berenstain was from this Mandela affected reality. Is a person of this timeline able to receive what we'll describe at this point as false memories from the associated reality? Illustrate this question as so. Some of the people who are not affected, they may actually be affected, but are simply denying reality. Third part of this theory I'll describe as perceptual blinders. So in summary, you have Berenstain, to Berenstain, a person of the Berenstain timeline who could only be born in this way. You have a person lying and in denial. And you may have some people who have transitioned from the old reality, but their perception is limited, so they're not able to perceive all of the different changes. This brings up a lot of questions. Why do people experience shifts in memories at certain times? Are we merely dealing with two realities, or are we instead in a meshwork of related realities? Are those people trapped in, from our vantage point, the older perception, let's say due to their geographic location, do they experience reverse Mandela effects? From our perception, it seems many of the Mandela effects are a degradation. An example of which would be how, for instance, with the Jaws movie, you're going to need a bigger boat is contextually the less proper term compared to we're going to need a bigger boat for that situation. With this biparallel question, those trapped in the older perception may have a memory of Chic-fil-A spelled correctly, and they may view their current reality version of the misspelling cheek as some type of degradation. This is not to say that the changes that we're seeing are comparable one-to-one with each adjacent reality. For all I know, they could have their own completely unique Mandela effects. Let's say 2 instead of 4 of these things, for instance. So with this topic, those points I'm still unsure about, in summary, are: is perspective of the Mandela effect mirrored for each of 2 realities, or is it a one-way mirror? And by one-way mirror, I'm talking about our perspective. We see a potential degradation of things that have changed supernaturally. That is to imply that we were previously in the old reality and then we traversed somehow to the current reality, or the new reality was superimposed on top of the old reality, causing a degradation due to certain changes. This would be a one-way mirror, and it would imply that those who are in the reality getting superimposed on top of the old reality were written into existence when that occurred. It would imply those in special circumstances, like on this island here, are in some way protected from features of the new reality leaking through due to that superposition. But things that they produced in their reality is able to leak through to our reality. The information flow gradient is only one direction. Second question: are memories from the old reality inserted into the heads of people born in this reality? And so those people are the Berenstain and individuals who were descendants of those saved by new reality technology. With this line of thinking, with the one mirror theory, there's only intended to be one base reality, which is now the new reality. The other reality still existing, but with the matrix intentions of causing people in this reality to have the Mandela effects eventually. That goes to true cause. What's the whole purpose and why is this happening? Third question: what triggers a shift from the old reality to our current reality? Is it piecemeal or is it in total? The piecemeal aspect invokes the concept of the reality flip-flops. There are certain examples that go back and forth, like Fruit Loops, for instance, for some people. For me, the line, "Luke, I am your father," was already deleted by around the year 2000. That's when I first saw Star Wars. The cornucopia had disappeared for me sometime in the 90s. In the next video, I'll show all evidence I have available that indisputably proves the Mandela effect is real through this example. However, for me, it wasn't until the late 2000s that Tostinos disappeared and became Totinos, what it is currently. I've seen interactions with people as young as age 16 or 17 claim that they have memory of the old version of cornucopia. So this proves, or at least strongly supports, the notion that the transitions are occurring on an individual level at different points in time and not all at once. But I could somehow still be wrong on the all at once part, which is why it's still a question. This Chick-fil-A example is important to me because it heavily implies that perception of reality is very individualistic. We can each exist within our own connected pocket universe. It supports the existence of what, from our vantage point, would be considered the older reality still existing, going on. It doesn't answer the question of exactly what the old reality people are experiencing from their perspective. It seems then that we're dealing with either two choices or an uncountable plethora of choices that are personalized, but many with the same basic features. Through inexplicable coincidence, as covered in previous content on my channel, I had come across individuals who try to explain the concept of the Earth's dimensions from the context of our individual perceptions, one of the terms being quarantine. I tend to think that this individual operates at a level beyond what I'm capable of easily understanding or explaining to others. And as mentioned in previous content, an individual reached out to me previously to suggest that reality paradoxes, like with the 7-Eleven store event, carry the implication of being man-made. Who's carrying the action causing transition or merge is still in question, but that parallel world people are presently existing is exciting. An associate of one of the individuals, who I presume are in the know concerning the nature of realities, produced content some months ago integrating the concept of the Kabbalah with physics in attempting to describe reality. I think I'll use the existence of the parallel reality as a foundation for attempting to explain the physics of the situation. I've held off on covering this material as I first wanted to make sure I had a means of making it understandable and engaging. So we'll see where this leads. Thanks for watching.